Good afternoon. I'm Mark Allen with Gaper.io, and I'm here today with Steve Ohanians, the CEO and co-founder of Webenertia. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hey there.
How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining me. It's another beautiful day in Northern California, as you know.
Yep, beautiful, sunny. Uh, can't be out there as much as we want to be, but it's beautiful.
Yes, it is. So can we start out with you sharing a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Sure. So about myself, I initially went to school at USC in Southern Cal for aerospace engineering out of all
Hmm.
things. And I did that for a couple of years, and I realized that I was kind of missing an artistic outlet, and I wasn't so sure if I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to do that as a career for the rest of my life. So I decided to stop that, or quote unquote, drop out,
Hmm.
and and do music for a while. And I was in LA, so of course I started a band and did shows and wrote music and did all of that, and then I was having an amazing time, but at the same time, I realized, man, I kind of missed some of that science and technology stuff, engineering stuff I was doing back at USC. So this was in the mid to late 90s, and the web was really coming onto its own, World Wide Web and all that. There was browsers like Internet Explorer and Netscape that were becoming better and better in displaying web content, and there were standards being written around the work being done, and there's new technologies coming out every day. There's like Flash. I don't know if you remember Flash, and
Hmm.
Flash animations were a big thing back then. And for me, web was that perfect marriage of art and science, where both sides of my brain could be
Hmm.
happy, where I can use art and design to conceptualize something and design something, and then use engineering and technology to build it. Right. So I became obsessed with it. I was building websites every day. It felt like. Now back at this time, I was back in San Jose, going to San Jose State, and in 1999, my business partner and I, who coincidentally was my best friend growing up, our families were best friends growing up. He's the best man at my wedding. I'm the best man at his wedding. Really, like, you know, really close brothers. He was at San Jose State as well, studying programming and math. So in '99, we decided to start Webenertia as a digital agency to build web-based experiences for folks, for clients.
No, very cool. And I assume you can play those two guitars behind your head there?
I pretend, yeah, I can do a little damage with them once in a while.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So what has been your experience with remote employment, both as an employer and an employee?
So that's an interesting question because we started Web Inertia. Well, this was back in 1999, so that was before uh, being an entrepreneur was so easy or such a cool thing to do, because it wasn't so easy for you to just pick up and work anywhere. So we said, okay, we're starting a business together. We need to find a place to work together. Otherwise, how are we going to collaborate? There's no collaboration tools and things like that. So that office was our base where we can work out of. And as an agency, we've always been one of those agencies that was really against remote working. And in the past 5 to 7 years, there's been a lot of new distributed work agencies that have come about. But for us, we kind of like that the idea of having a home base where we can come to and work. And doing that in the Silicon Valley and doing what we do is not the easiest thing in the world. We're competing for the same developers and same designers as some of the largest tech brands in the world that offer ridiculous perks and beautiful workspaces and amazing salaries that as a small agency I just can't compete with, right? So when we were thinking about creating an office space, we wanted, one of the big parts of wanting a space was to be able to create a culture, create a place, a great place for you to come do some great work with great people. And that's the way we could compete with those big guys, right?
Mhm.
So culture was a big thing for us. Also, that office space, the way we would set it up is it provided inspiration, it facilitated actual face-to-face collaborations, like doing workshops and doing brainstorming sessions and things like that. So kind of really, we're a big proponent of those human interactions, being in the same place and working together to solve difficult things, right? So, and it was a place for our clients to come in and ideate and brainstorm with us. Um, so we thought that's the best approach for us. And at some point that actually became a differentiator for us because of all these distributed agencies. And then this lovely pandemic happened and we had to go from 0% remote to 100% remote in a matter of a couple of days. And there we are.
Wow. So you still have an office in San Jose then?
Yep. We started in San Jose. Yeah, we're
And
still in San Jose. Our
is
headquarters are in
anybody,
San Jose. We have a remote office in San Francisco, but we started in San Jose.
Interesting. Has anybody been going into the office or is it pretty quiet there?
It's quiet right now. A couple of us go in there once in a while just to make sure the wheels are running and vendors are being paid and things are still going smoothly. We don't have a definite date to going back. I mean, one of the nice surprises is the transition happened pretty smoothly. To go from 0% remote to 100% remote, because as an agency we've been always these big proponents of transparency and collaboration. So we already had a lot of tools in place, communication tools, collaboration tools that were all cloud-based anyway. So for us to transition was pretty easy and pretty seamless for our clients as well, which was something that I was worried about. Our team did an amazing job to make sure that we don't miss a beat with them. So yeah, I mean, we were able to transition pretty effectively.
Interesting. So what do you think is the future of remote employment? And now that you've had a taste of it, what do you think can be done differently to make it more effective?
So again, coming from always being in an office, I was worried about the quality not being there, and that wasn't true. I mean, we had to adjust some processes to accommodate for being remote, but for the most part, the work is still being done and still being done at a high level that we want it to be done in. And there's lots of benefits in working remotely, like increased productivity, right? I feel like people are able to concentrate on executing stuff a lot better at home than when they're in the office for whatever reason. I mean, with the caveat of if you have kids and things like that at home, but for the most part, we see the productivity increase in the past few months. Less time commuting, right? It's a big thing, especially here in Northern California. For us, it's been cheaper on facility fees and office fees and things like that. But again, for us, I still don't think there's a replacement that can really replace that person-to-person, being in the same place, working together. There's no real replacement for that. There's social benefits to it. I mean, we when we designed our workshops to do our creative or technology workshops, it's because we know that when we do it in person with the client, there's a stronger sense of camaraderie. Right? There's a stronger sense of working for each other to get something done, whether it's us and our clients or our team by themselves. We're actually making a connection with someone to make working with them easier. Now, I'm not saying those are impossible to do with technology-based solutions like Zoom and Slack. I just think it's a lot less natural, right? Like, so I might not start up Zoom, just say, "Hey, how's it going?" Right? Where I would do that if I'm walking around in the office. So, but we definitely see the benefit to both. So for us anyway, the ideal future of employment would be something hybrid, where our employees have the flexibility to work from home if they need to just concentrate on getting work done
Mm-hmm.
with no distractions. And that's work is where they're going to be the most productive to do a specific aspect of their job. But I also feel like I would want to have an office location where we can collaborate, interact with our coworkers, and do workshops and brainstormings, get on a whiteboard. Um, Office is the one that, is where that happens best. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's going to be some kind of a balance to that. What that balance is, we don't know yet, but it is something that we're going to be thinking about it really seriously and see what happens after this is all over.
Yeah, and I've been hearing that a lot. I think now that we've gone through this period, the trust has been built that management now knows that the people can be trusted to do the work at home.
Right.
I think they'll just naturally know when to come in and when to work from home.
Yeah, and I'm not. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, go ahead. I was done.
And I don't think the answer is going to be like, hey, these 3 days
Right.
you're coming to the office, this 2 days you're not, or these people come in from X time to the X, whatever time. I think it's going to be, like you said, a little bit more transparency around what work needs to be done, and having that. If you have the right team, you should have the confidence in them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those decisions on, hey, I really need to be in the office for this thing. So, and well, we need to figure that out. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know if I can talk our entire leadership into what it needs to be yet, but we are thinking about that right now.
Yeah, and I even noticed too that when you, especially the Bay Area, you're commuting in normal times at least 2 hours a day.
Yep.
And I think the average person, now that this has happened, is giving an hour of that back to themselves and an hour of it to the company, it seems like. So that's where you're seeing, the part of the productivity gains.
Yeah, and then there's public transportation, what the reality of that is after
Mm-hmm.
all this, and how the people's comfort levels with those. There's a comfort level in general of folks wanting to be in the office or not. So there's a lot of different variables that play a role in this. But I think, like you said, one thing that from someone that never done remote working is, hey, work can still happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for us, it's a bigger thing about the whole culture and environment, and facilitating things that happen better.
Mm. Yeah. So what's the story behind Webenertia? Well, I mean, what's your product? Who's your target audience? All those things.
Yeah, so Webenertia is a digital agency. We specialize in designing and developing brand experiences and websites, primarily for enterprise size to mid-market, and also well-funded startups, after Series A, and specifically in the B2B technology space.
Mm.
Our core focus is B2B tech. We understand the nuances between B2B and B2C and why those are important, what the B2B tech web engagement needs are, their lead generation needs are, their sales cycles, their content needs for a website or a brand, their personas. B2B tech brands and websites are what we do, right? So that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like part of that reason is we started a company in San Jose, and we're lucky enough to be surrounded by a lot of amazing tech brands, both in software and security and artificial intelligence and big data, networking, you name it, it's all here. So it's nice to be an agency that's in Silicon Valley that can have those, we don't travel far to go to our clients for the most part, right? So, so we kind of didn't have a choice to focus on B2B tech, but it's also been a blessing to be able to do that. So it's been great. So yeah, we started in '99, and today we're a group of around 60 designers, developers, digital strategists and account and project managers that help our clients build these brand and web experiences.
And are all your employees in either San Francisco or San Jose?
So that's actually an interesting question. So all of our clients, so it's half and half. So there's about 30 of us that are in San Jose and San Francisco. There's another 30 that are offshore in India and Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we had a little bit of remote working happening there, but all of our kind of client facing and we're creative and the solution building stuff need to happen. We've always said that need to be happening in our Silicon Valley, San Jose, San Francisco headquarters. So the rest of the team is more about kind of back-end development.
Okay, and we've talked a little bit about the pandemic, and that caused everyone to go remote mid-March, and it hit you hard, it sounds like. Were there any roadblocks or challenges that you didn't expect? Because it was, we could see it coming, but all of a sudden, March 16th, you're remote. So what was that like?
So, freaked out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both for the way we were going to work, which obviously ended up a lot better than I thought, and for us as an organization. But again, a silver lining for us, which we weren't really ever thinking about or planning for, was with all these in-person events for trade shows, networking, all this stuff are gone. Communicating on the web has become more important than ever. So as a business, didn't affect us as well. In fact, we've been able to kind of support our partners through this time. It's been a big role for us, so that's been nice. But as for the team, there's been, both some small challenges and some larger challenges. Smaller challenges, some of the things that we talked about, again, like kind of that passive knowledge sharing, right? Where you're just walking by and you see someone struggling and say, hey, try this thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's a lot. It was a lot easier doing that in an office. There's some bigger challenges like burnout. Again, all our teams went from being in an office to working from home now. So I don't know if all of them have that work-life balance just yet, especially when both that work and life is happening in your house, right? During now. Some isolation and disconnection, especially for me, because I'm the type of person that if I had 30 seconds, I would love to walk around and just see how everyone's doing. And right now, I don't feel as connected with the team as I was before, although we're working on some things where we can alleviate that. And then kind of the biggest challenge is, if we were to do this 100%, how can we reinvent that culture that was so much based on an in-office experience to like having lunch together or taking the whole team on a walk to market or something like that? How do you replicate that with remote employees? So we're still trying to figure some of those things out.
Yeah, I think it's been a challenge for most companies, but somehow we're getting through.
Yeah. And we've done some things. And we have some channels where some of those water cooler conversations that used to happen, we've created some channels where people can go talk about wellness or being a parent or their pets, or we have like wine Wednesdays so we used to do this in our office actually, but where, some of the teams would bring different wines and just taste them and see what they think. And now they're doing that. It's only once a month. I'm drinking too much, those kids, but that's transitioned well into doing it remote. So we are finding ways to supplement it or replace it. I don't know if you can necessarily replace it, but put something else different that can still kind of help build that camaraderie and culture.
Yeah. So finally, there's companies like Gaper that help develop, build, and scale products. Sounds like you already have offshore development, right? So you've already bought into that idea.
Yeah.
How important do you think that's going to be going forward for other companies that are, because you've been in business for 21 years, you're an established company, you're not a startup.
Right.
But how important do you think that's going to be for going forward for companies that do need specific skills and they need them in a hurry?
So I think it's really important, actually, for any organization, but especially startups, being able to hire the right people at the right time. That's the key for growth, right? And if you're a founder, I know I'd much rather be focusing on my business than worrying about how I'm going to set up an office space and how I'm going to hire these people and things like that. So talent acquisition, having access to a greater pool of talent, and again, setting some priorities for yourself in different phases of your business, and where that talent acquisition falls in is really important. So I think it's a great deal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think most new entrepreneurs don't realize how difficult talent acquisition is until they get in.
To this day, it's one of the toughest things that we do.
Yeah.
Right? And especially being where we are, but to this day, it's one of the tougher things.
Yeah. As you know, if you want to get a kid, a Stanford grad, they're getting 5 to 10 offers, right?
Yeah.
Easily.
And they're getting offers from the Apples, well, where we are, from the Apples and the Googles and the Facebooks, and yeah, good luck trying to compete with those, and the pays that they get is all the compensation.
My daughter got her degree from Carnegie Mellon, and she went right to Google.
Yeah.
And she had multiple offers, but that was the best one.
Yeah, and good for her. That's that's the kind of talent that we do need in this area, and so good for her.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been very interesting. Hopefully we'll get to see each other when this is all over. Maybe we can catch a hockey game together.
Yeah, I'll see you at a Sharks game.
Yeah, go Sharks.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great night.
Take care.